Hey guys, BenKyo Baduk here. Another live go. Let's play very territorial today. All right, we are black with the 1-3-5 opening, so let's do the 1-3-5. Yeah, usually white approaches here next. Approaching the open 3-4 point is usually a high priority in the beginning. And we said we're going to be hyper territorial, right? So let's go with the kick today. And white usually plays here. Okay, that's fine too. This is still a very big move. Even playing it now is okay. We are going to approach here to stop white from making territory there. At least not as much, right? And if we do get Sente, then maybe we could play in the 3-3 here. Okay, they pincer, so we probably should respond. Because it's such a tight pincer, I'm going to go ahead and play the kind of complicated but super common move here. Yeah, it's possible to play something like jump and pushing along and then pincering. Oh, that is unusual. That is very unusual. I don't know if I've ever seen this before in this shape, actually. If they played one space over more, then I know it's a trick move. So of course, the first thing that comes to mind is the push and cuts, but this is actually a shape where, because I have only a single stone, if I push and, well, let's say that I cut and then capture in a ladder. When white pushes here, the ladder breaks. Like if they push after and then I want to block, then this move will become Atari for white because we pushed in earlier, right? And then we did some cutting and we got a ladder because they want to save the corner. But then if we ladder and they push and we block and they Atari, then the ladder breaks. So this is not the kind of shape where you should actually do the push and cut stuff, usually. It's a bit more complicated than that because instead of laddering, you could extend. But on the other hand, if we push along like this, we're pushing from behind, but normally when white plays the normal move here, we're actually extending ahead of white. So this is interesting. There is a little bit of a different shape, I know, where... Anyway, it's too hard to explain what that shape is, but basically you push and then you actually pull it back. That might be the right way here. Let's see. So we push it and then we pull it back, which looks a bit unnatural. But if they extend, then now the cutting is actually still working. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I don't really feel like pushing from behind and letting them get what they wanted. It's not really the same as the other situations, so I'm not too sure about this. I think this way is better for white than the one that I'm thinking of because we're so concentrated here. But okay, I think we messed it up slightly and we can research it after. But it's also not that bad. I could actually consider using this slight solidity here to play a pincer. I just need to be very careful with how it's going to go. The annoying thing here is that white can get this one to live in the corner already. So the stakes are not very high for white. When they do Atari, we can make co-shape and make that a bit annoying and worrisome for them. So I do still want to limit white's eye space if I can. So they push out, we Hane. If they attach, we can cut because of white's liberties. So probably they Hane. And then we probably want to cut it. What if they Atari and then Atari and then... There's some danger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so it's either going to be this move or something like this could be okay too. One of these two moves. Having trouble deciding. Okay, let's play high. It's a little bit safer for us than the low one, but still kind of annoying for white.
Yoyomi now starts.
If I go down, it turns it into we went down and white played diagonal, which is a bit unusual, and then we push. So actually going down is already a pretty reasonable idea here. Yeah, let's do that actually. That seems very questionable for white. Of course, this was already very questionable for us. That is definitely not a good move. White had to go out. We might as well take the peep. I don't think the liberties of these three are going to be that relevant anymore. Therefore, the peep is not a bad exchange. Sure, let's do that. I don't think white can ignore that. Yeah, then we should probably go out. And I guess one space is the most connected. So yeah, let's do that. So we can aim at pressing here, and we can aim at closing white off. So this is actually probably already good for black. White doesn't have a way to become fully alive in Sente. They can Atari. And if we respond, there's a threat of us cutting and fighting Ko. So they still owe a move after that. Anyway, so here they attached, of course, the first thought, Hane. This kind of situation, you shouldn't rely too much on proverbs.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But I think I'll just play this one actually. I'm not afraid of anything white does over there. Even if white extends, I think we're happy to just capture that stone. So maybe I should have Atari'd Haned though. I'm not sure. It's actually a bit unclear. So I wasn't sure, therefore I didn't play it. Because when I look at the result of just not playing it and white takes it and I play something here, that seemed fine for us. And also when we Hane and they extend, slowly but surely we're weakening ourselves on this side and inviting a stronger pincer. And also when we Hane and they extend, our stone here is also soft. It has only 3 liberties. So it is vulnerable to the pushing, right? Because after we Hane and they go here, we're of course switching to this side. I mean, I suppose you could cap here. But basically, there's a high chance that Hane there was going to be a slightly bad exchange, actually. So the unique situation on the left side called for a different way of playing. Because rather than Hane or anything on this side, for example, if white had blocked here and I extend and white pushed along, and we have a wall here, I probably want to jump instead.
6.
So no Nobi and no Hane, but just jumping, right? So it's important to play out that part first, I think. Okay, and then here, I have a choice to make, although I think capturing this would be good. But even turning is pretty annoying for white. But white can still live, and then white captures that. I don't really like that. So
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
let's go here. This one's going to threaten ladder and still threatening the white. I probably could have played this block too, but there was more stuff to think about. Because they can Hane, Tiger Mouth, I have to fix, then they play more things, and we don't have very many liberties. This one, even when they play there, they still are not capturing 2 stones yet. and I can get the next move over here. The question is, am I dying there? I might need to play something.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This move I'm really not sure, but the idea with this one, which is just a quick fix to solve the situation and probably not the best, is we stop them from doing all this like Atari stuff and killing us. But also with the shape like this, we're gonna have Atari and then a double threat move like extending here for ladder and these two stones. So white's gonna have to fix this shape probably, and then in the meantime we can jump down here then and capture these. And I'm pretty sure, based on how I checked, after white blocks and we block too, these 3 stones cannot defeat these stones, because thanks to this exchange we have more liberties here now. So yeah, I think we just go here and the day is saved. If I just played there though, we were in trouble, I think, because of Atari. Yeah, but this should be fine. Okay, so the question here is, can I do that, right? You always want to think of the greediest idea first in the local fighting, because it's like, if you can get away with it, then the reading speaks for that, right? If it checks out, it checks out. Although I think here it's quite dangerous to do that, so probably here.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In fact, I'll do it this way. If I just go there and then white captures, I feel like I might even still owe a move. So this one is, this tighter one seems better, because still we're threatening to go down there. So now, yeah, now at least if white captures, we can go here and then give them gote there. Really? So of course I can just block, but now I'm thinking, okay, does this actually make me able to play here now? So white goes there. We play this one.
9,
Here. Throw in.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I think white overplayed big time with that. That one doesn't really help in the first place, I think. It just doesn't, as long as we respond, they didn't gain a liberty anyway. But now I think I could actually, I only did a quick read, so there might be a misread. But I think, yeah, I think we're golden now. So if I Hane, white will Atari. If they connect, I have liberty there. I Atari, connect, and then white dies first. Okay. This, Atari.
9,
Okay, I think we can do that.
7, 6, 5.
Yeah, now white's just dying much bigger. This is very good for us. To be honest, you know, when it comes to reading ability, reading when I was a Q player and even up to like 2 or 3 dan, reading was definitely my weakness. I think a lot of you can resonate with that. Reading and like life and death and fighting by extension was definitely my weakness, and my strengths were opening and endgame, especially when I was like 2 dan and 2Q and those kind of levels. I was probably drastically ahead of my level in endgame because I had learned it, and in general people don't study it whatsoever. They don't know anything about endgame or the move values on the edge.
Yoyomi now starts.
And I already learned a lot about that stuff when I was, you know, like not even 1 dan yet. Or I think actually 2 dan is when, I remember now, it's like 2008 Quebec Open or something is when I really learned a lot and started focusing on that. But yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to say is I can really empathize or sort of relate to, I guess empathize is not the right word. Sympathize? Anyway, I can really relate to those of you who feel the same, that your technical ability is not as strong as your strategy or your opening and territorialization and kind of territory skills, right? But of course, I have balanced out a lot since then. Actually, it was still a weakness when I was 5 down already. And even now, it's not exactly my strength, but but I don't really know clearly what my weakness is right now. Or at least if I thought about it, I could probably tell you, but it's not so, I don't have like gaping holes in my strength the way that I used to.
7, 6.
Yeah, right. So what was I saying? But what I can say as somebody who has never really had fighting as like their particular strength, and especially who had it as their weakness, I can tell you that reading ability
9, 8.
is kind of everything when you want to get into like the higher and higher levels. Even a slight difference in reading ability between two players, like reading just 1 or 2 steps ahead of them each time, or having slightly more accurate reading, it kind of makes the huge difference, right? I think that if you guys have similar knowledge and overall level and sort of territory abilities, can I press here? It's fine, let's just push. Then yeah, even a slight difference in reading will make you win like 4 out of 5 games with them. So basically, like, hey, peep or cap? Probably peep, right?
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Basically, making just very small improvements to your overall reading and technical abilities makes a huge difference to your actual performance, your ability to beat certain levels. And I believe it keeps being focused on that all the way up the ladder to like pro level, 9 Dan Pro, AI, all that. I think that continues to be a main thing. Yeah. Basically, your training on this stuff, the reading and all that, would be very worth your time. Basically, you can get by with weaker reading for a while.
7, 6, 5,
Is this dead?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, like for me, it was kind of a wall around 2 Dan or so. And the only reason I was able to play as 2 Dan was probably because I had studied so much about opening and Joseki and Endgame that it was more comparable to like 5 Dan. But I just had a lot of other weakness, right? But it was like a wall. I couldn't really improve anymore until I fixed some technical ability.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was going to pull back, but I changed my mind and I'd rather not have this cut because when white jumps out here and then we try to push and cut, then there's a Tari here and then these 3 stones become lost because this side was already cut. And also, it's hard for white to make life there anyway with this space. So white still can do something because if white plays here and then we push and cut and then they Atari and then pull this down, we cannot save that stone because after they turn here, we lose the 4 stones. So instead of killing, I mean, I do have time for one forcing move here if I think it's helpful.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let me think. Is this an opportunity to play here?
Left.
Does this help me? That's fine. We'll just play here. We'll let white live with 5 points here after. Wait. Do I have time for this? Here, 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 here. Da, da, da. I don't really have time for that, I think.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There isn't really a way to connect everything with one move here, actually. But I should be able to manage with this for now, while white has to still live. Honestly, there was probably a better shape to use here, but this one takes care of the corner part. Yeah, they want to perform some cuts before they live. That's understandable. That's fine. Yeah. We could extend. The Aji is a bit annoying, but it does kind of still check out for now. But actually, I don't need to because I can net this thing anyway. So let's just connect. Yeah. White cannot pull the stone out unless they have like 0 life and death ability. Okay. That one loses a bit. They could have played here for a little bit more point value. This is definitely a good result for black. So solid. White's territories on the top here are very, very tiny. That's a weird spot because it doesn't really aim very well at this one. It's also side oriented. It's also lonely right next to my group. Very strange position. Very strange.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's there. I think they're all fine. This one, 3, 3. Yeah, it's all basically fine. The game is very easy for black to just peacefully win now. That's a good exchange for us. Now I can play this big area. I think I'll go for this one. If I 3-3, it hurts myself in the potential on this side as we crawl along and white makes a wall. Also, this is pretty wide.
9, 8.
I don't really feel like putting effort into reducing this after when white expands. I would rather simplify. That's a very weird and jealous pincer. It feels like white's hoping for something here, which is impossible. That is a very weird choice. How can you do that?
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I don't really care though. If I jump and then I play one more move, because of that situation, their attachment move to my cap is a bit. There's a bit of risk of losing liberties with these 4. And if I press with the shoulder hit, there's still a lot of cutting Aji. So I don't really care. I'm just going to take this. If they build the wall, I'll just reduce on the start point here with a shoulder hit. Question though is what variation here should I choose? I don't feel like the usual one is the right choice here because it gives white stones too close to me over there. So maybe the old school one or even pushing out. I'm just going to play old school.
7,
Oh, wait.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go this other kind of old school. So then white plays here, and instead of the AI bump bend Hane, we're actually just going to go with this other old school Joseki. Then if white blocks, we just reduce here. And if white expands here, we can come in. So the reason why I didn't just go here without this end is white has sentes around here, making it so I cannot make an eye on the edge there. And then on this side, white has a Hane and push and like double Hane here. And if I Atari it, they can make a Ko and then Atari and make a huge... There's a technique in there that would be scary. So yeah, that's one of the weaknesses of the two stones, that older one. So that's why I put it here.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So now white has a lot of stones pointing to the middle. If we wait too long, white could actually start making a center. So this is the perfect time to play here, I think. And yeah, there's only one objective for the game now, is like just don't let this group die and we're good to go. So I could jump. I am tempted to extend here because keeping the stones more solid is a bit harsher on this group. And this group is right next to black here and far away from white, so being harsher on them makes sense, except it's slower.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, somehow I'm feeling this one here. The jump is more than half the time the better one. But so now when I turn, I also have some, you know, reducing white's liberties. Yeah, but I'm not sure. This is still kind of slow. It's definitely slow. Okay, so I have moves around here when I need them, but I don't know if I don't want to damage my own corner too much. This feels a bit heavy actually, now that I
9, 8,
think about it.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's just see what white does. Just here. That's fine. So we always can get some move over here. So that means that when we play around here, we're building a little bit of a box. But we're also threatening to escape. So yeah.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of choices around here. I'm not really sure what's the best one. We have attach here too. But running in this direction looks like, you know, we cannot make contact with any black over here. So this direction makes more sense. But white's playing pretty defensive here. That's very good for us. White definitely should cut us off and attack. But white's playing as if they won the game already, which is strange. So yeah, let's... I don't want to lose territory there.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm just going to play another loose move. I don't mind white cutting because we can just use that to just get something anyway. Get something and give something. Because the main focus is just making eye shape with this or connecting to somewhere. So who cares if that stone actually gets... White has to do a lot of work to cut us off, basically, right? And it's going to be a bunch of move transactions, which is going to give us a bunch of black stones, even if we lose that stone. So it doesn't really matter. This is a little annoying. Yeah, maybe it would have been nice if I avoided getting peeped, which was doable if I put more thought into it. But how annoying, how bad is it to get peeped here though? It might be totally fine. Should I do this? I want to make white heavier.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, let's try that. Okay, and we certainly don't have any ladders here, right? Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll just connect and see what happens. Even if white manages to cut us, we should have a lot of forcing moves around here. Even if we can't find a way to capture the 2 stones. Wow, that's so passive. Like, we're just finished now. I really want to get this move.
8,
I'm just having some greedy thoughts.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This one is bad shape for us because it makes this Atari for white also into a push and cut. But I played here because if they attach there, we can try to fight sometimes with the help of this one. This push is funny because I might be able to just go here now. Yeah, that push is definitely a mistake. Now it, yeah. Now that it's happening like this, like white got nothing from this, so I don't mind. Like white always could have done this from the very beginning, right? So it's only reasonable to let white do something here.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, I'm just gonna back off here. We could have tried the fight, but then yeah. And normally in this shape, you bump here to indirectly defend that cut because now the cut doesn't work for white, but also Sante on white. That push is interesting because they're giving us a chance to massively, massively damage this territory. Are they still fixated on cutting somehow? Seems hard.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I want white to get punished for ignoring this. This exchange alone is a huge points change. So now I'm happy to just go back and fix. Even if they turn here, we don't have to save that stone. We already made a good transaction here, which expanded and made white play inside their own territory. Imagine if it was white's turn and they would have descended, right? And then they would get monkey jump. So compared to that, white playing here and then even a second move here still didn't bring white back to kind of par, right? Even after 2 more moves, it's still worse than white descending.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Can you actually cut me off? Are you sure? I don't think you can. It's a bit too late. I mean, white can try anyway because the game's kind of over otherwise, but it's a bit too little too late to try to cut me now. All the moves around here were way too passive. But yeah, I can tell that, I mean, obviously they're a lower level player, but I can tell also that this person's weakness is the technical part, and they probably do pretty well on the peaceful stuff.
9, 8, 7,
That's a pretty common player shape, actually.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Majority of my students are this kind of shape too. So that's not Sante actually. There's no threat, so we just play a big move now. So there's this one. What else is even big at this point?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's not working, right? Not working. They might resign here. If they have a clear sense of the points and the fact that black has no weaknesses anywhere, then they might resign.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
So if I play here, then they could peep and push and capture those. Even then, the trade might be okay for me though, because I can hurt this one. But also I could just play here and that's fine too. What do I care about?
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think actually the Tiger Mouth was better there. I don't think these were important enough. Actually, they don't even get both, right? They only get like one stone. I should have played Tiger Mouth. If I played Tiger Mouth, it would have been harder for white to make any territory here. But still, it is okay because this is nothing. Yeah, this was terrible actually. It's because I wanted to play safe because I already won, but it still is such an ugly move.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This peep is probably a bad exchange. I'm not sure why I'm doing it, but it's not clearly bad. So I just prepared some center access. If white gets enough stones around here, I do lose my chance to peep. So there's a slight benefit to doing it early. But it probably wasn't needed. Center is still so small. This one must be bigger.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
And then I think this one is also bigger. Right. I forgot to think about this actually. That's true. That's true. I forgot. Yeah, you're right. I forgot to think about that. I always knew about that, but I forgot. Bup. You have the ladder. Okay, I have to compromise.
9, 8.
That's a good point.
7,
You're right.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm just thinking, could it be not so horrible if I just connect under? Usually it's horrible though. But white gets so much over here in this case. Yeah, that's a really, really good move at this time. I guess earlier would have been even better.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Okay.
4.
You got your time to shine. Good job. Oh. True. Suddenly this person knows a lot of stuff. Wow. Yeah, that one aims at this, although I do gain on this side.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Can I do this? So white can actually connect and then make life inside the corner. And then I just connect that way. That was like very cool. Yeah, good job. Good job. Thankfully, I do have that stone to connect over. If I didn't, then I would have chosen a safer variation, which I did have. I could have just kept the corner territory. I probably should have just kept the corner territory, but I couldn't accept how good White's result was going to be. Also, because I know I won already, I feel no pressure. So it's hard to play. It's kind of hard to play super well for yourself when you don't have any pressure. It's like working when you never need money. Like someone who has so much money that they never need to work again, then how can they
9,
work hard, I guess? I don't know.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm confused. I was not thinking and I kept talking. I just started to think that, wait, does White even have the liberties, though, to live here? Doesn't White just not have enough liberties? If I want, I could play Ko here. If I make it 2 Kos, does that mean it's good for me? Or is bad for me?
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't know. I'm confused. We have a lot of liberties, so even if it's a Ko, like what can they do? Also, I think I have a good option here. A very, very good option here. Or maybe it's nothing special.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nothing special? Yeah, that's correct. Cut is also correct. So now I will have a Ko threat here later. And also it's very good for the territory. Getting a single stone here to make the L shape like this makes it so black will not owe any moves in here. But if white gets a single push, it changes the territory a lot. Yeah. So now we just reduce from here, pretty simple. White would have to win this Ko probably several times. So the situation hasn't really changed much for white. It's not improved very much. But technically I should have avoided this. And I guess points wise, extending my liberties here is a bit better than just starting the Ko now, I think. Or is it? Now let's just do that.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That one is probably Sente. I mean, yeah. So this one is probably a valid Ko threat for me. Because if white blocks it, then a lot of Atarying happens. Although it might be a bit inconsequential, actually. But then this push.
9, 8, 7,
I don't know.
5.
Let's do that first. They do have this cut, but how big is that really? I might be able to give it up if I really get worried. But come to think of it, oh, actually, oh, you know what? This co-threat was a very bad co-threat. You know why? I get one co-threat, but now they get like 3 co-threats from it. 1, 2, 3, 4 co-threats. Oh, that is so bad. That is like -3 co-threats unless I sacrifice. Yeah, that was like just not thinking. That's the one thing that especially if I play a much stronger person than this, you know, like 8 dan, 7 dan, then the talking weakens my play also. It's not just less talking because of more focus, it's also just weaker play as well. Of course, I will still make those videos.
9,
Uh,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was actually thinking that connecting here might be my best co move right now. Because it takes away co threats. Right now, because I'm ahead of white by far on the co liberties, playing moves that remove co threats is actually like a strong strategy here. Anyway, okay, I'll just do that.
9,
But honestly, I think, yeah, just now I should have connected here. I think that's really important for you guys to remember if you didn't know. That, yeah, when you're way ahead on co-threats and it's also going to determine the game,
7,
playing reverse co-threats is good.
4, 3, 2, 1.
That one. Is that one? That's not even a co-threat, right? White connects, then I just Atari. So, yeah. GG. That's not Sente. It's just threatening 1 stone. So now we just want to reduce the center.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Try this, I guess. I didn't finish reading it, but I think when white pushes and cuts and we Atari, we can play Tygem and then play a net after they come out. So they played there. Now we have a chance to reinforce somehow. Or I could try to indirectly make this push not work with okay, anyway.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So now there's this area. Really? How is that big? That's only like 4 points or something. Why? Isn't this area the more important area? Okay, well now I'm just gonna demolish this area. Starting with a peep here. And then maybe attach or even like anything. I don't understand. I mean, yeah, that is Sente, but I was always gonna have to take these off eventually anyway, so it doesn't really change anything. All right. So I could play in a way that builds myself. I could also just go as deep as possible. But I guess we might as well just build ourself also.
9, 8, 7,
Not sure. I think there's a lot of moves around here that are like comparable. Maybe extend actually. You know what? I think. Okay, anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're like way ahead, right? Like almost 40 points. All right. Yeah, so that was that. I'll just do another quick review because I do have a lot to do tonight, and I also don't want the video to get too long. But yeah. In general, I will be moving these. I will save it and open on OGS and then have a much better looking review. But I think this one can be brief because once again, I don't think there's a whole lot that determines the game, but just a few key things. So this was kind of interesting, actually. Let me on my other monitor. That reminds me, I should set up an AI sensei scene for YouTube videos. Why not? I don't want to do too much AI stuff on this channel, at least right now at this era of this YouTube channel. But I think sometimes at the end of the game, I think especially when we play 7 and 8 dan games on Fox, then we better AI review. It can get kind of dry though. I wouldn't want to do it for too many minutes, but let me save this game. I'm just curious about this area, and while the AI is looking at it, we can try to come to our own conclusion and do the human review. So stick around to the end if you want to see the conclusion about this, which I'll make it very concise. And while I'm just doing AI thing, if you are enjoying this, please do click like and give me a comment. Really helps the channel, and I appreciate it a lot. And the encouragement and feedback, even the constructive feedback, all of it it helps me and also keeps me encouraged and keeps me going. So thank you guys. You guys have been giving a lot of nice comments. Yeah, so okay, upload. Change the Comey to 6.5 because I'm more used to that. And okay, let's take a look. So this one, yeah, normally they push and cut, and then a lot of things can happen from here. But if white wants to be simple, white can just play something like this, and black can play something here, and then that's it. And then white can be annoying with this, black can be annoying with this. This one's often here, but it depends on how much you mind white playing around here. Actually, this one, there might be other moves for black to play. I kind of forgot. Maybe here? Or just approach first, maybe here. But I know on this side, this is one of the moves. And then if they block, you can look forward to getting Hane. And yeah, this one's also pretty annoying, usually Sente. So that's the peaceful way. I'm fine with that. And then here, if they push and something like this happens, then there's many ways to play here too. One thing black could do is just some kind of cap here. You might be wondering when you see some people play this kind of move, like what happens if white goes here? If white goes here, then you can just let white cut. And why don't you pause and think about this for a second to solve this for black? Yeah, but we can Atari and then descend here. If they save these stones, we can capture these keystones. If they save these, we can go here and capture these. So white cannot push and cut here, actually. This is actually connected. This stuff here is connected. So this one doesn't do anything. Therefore, black can play here. And you can even be a bit free and play other things too. But I would hesitate on this because it does give white a chance to just make points. So I wouldn't always choose this one. Another way is pushing and then some kind of pincer here. And do a long drawn out battle here. Okay, as for this, So let me show you guys the thing I was comparing to. I'm pretty sure that I made a bad choice there because this just does not, it doesn't feel right for black. It's too concentrated. And the corner access for white to live is too easy. But it was a fast game, right? But let me find it for you. So one space low pincer, and this one, and here, and then like this and this. Yeah. So by the way, in the one space low pincer, right? The way to deal with this situation, you have two. One is you jump and push and you do the stuff that we used to call taboo, pushing along the fifth line, and then you just pincer. Another one is this classic, which is aiming at A and B. So you saw this, which I'm gonna talk about, but with this one, it looks like we're not connected here, but actually if they cut us, they run out of liberties on the two stones. Right? Therefore we can play this, and they need to use this Tetsuji, and then like this and like that. And white is actually pretty enjoyed here. There is also AI variation like this. Crosscut I think is usually bad, but could be confusing. This one looks terrible for black because white gets this, but black can actually live in Sente up to here. And so somehow AI sometimes recommends this, although it still looks pretty painful. In the first place, I would recommend you to just fix this side instead and let the press happen. But if you don't like black, because black has almost no territory in total between the two sides, then you just have to second guess this this pincer and maybe be a bit more situational with it. I do have a video all about this pincer because it's extremely amazing at farming for mistakes from your opponent. So I do actually encourage you guys to get some experience with this move. And there's a lot more you could do, right? Like with this one, you could Hane, or you could play like this. There's so many things to learn. There's even some fun tricks like this that white has to solve. If you want to know how to do and solve that trick, check out the video. The thumbnail is like so strong exclamation mark, right? It's that one. But you can just search the channel Trick Joseki or something like that, right? I do think Trick Joseki are extremely educational. So there's a lot of good about them, and instead of we just think that they're bad or they're somehow like something you shouldn't do, no, there's actually a lot of benefit. You learn a lot of solving techniques of special Tetsujis and stuff from Trick Joseki. You also get to have a lot of fun with giving your opponents a hard time with them. Virtually all Q players will get this one wrong. Virtually all. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, check out that video. But that's why we usually do this, right? Because the corner is nice and beefy. It's a good 14 points or so. Yeah. And they only get like 6 points, and then we have Sente 2, right? That is why AI would, except for some situations, like if white has a big wall here, then this one might be good, right? But that's why this one loses a little bit, like 1 point or half a point. 0.7, something like that, because you lose some corner points. But the advantage is you get to develop on two sides instead of only one place and one place, one for black, one for white. You get to develop two positions, and that's a kind of speed, you might say. So anyway, going back to what I wanted to show that was similar to my choice in the game. When black jumps here, white's main, well, there's a lot of things white can do here, but one of white's things is pushing and actually pulling back. Yeah, you can see it's different from the real game because here in the real game, this is the corner. So black has access to life in the corner, but here black does not have access to two eyes. So we can easily bully this group. So this is significantly better than what I chose in the game, than how I applied it in the game. And the idea here, again, if we try to ladder like this push makes our ladder break, so we can't really do that. So instead we play here. If they dare to extend here, then we can cut and do all this, and black's not even alive yet. Yeah, so that's where that idea came from. Yeah. They should have gone here so that I couldn't choose this. Because ordinarily, if white wants to go out, white is, well, like if I play here, diagonal is usually not right. Should be this one usually. Because diagonal, the shape is very bad. It's just, I can get senteis anytime. I can peep. It's making black strong here too. Usually we turn, or we push here, and then we hane, let ourselves get cut, and play like this, and then let black deal with all their shape problems. Yeah, so this happened. This empty triangle, that's just not playable. It's just something that you just can't consider this option. It just doesn't really do anything. Yeah. Even if you think there's a logical reason, like somehow you had an illusion that there's like a working cut, still, just the way that it looks, it's like it can't be right. You have to have a red flag. Yeah. So I thought it was going to go like this, and then maybe I just jump. Later I peep. So maybe white plays somewhere here, and I go out, and white goes out, and I peep, and then I jump. This kind of thing. Yeah. Or I could even exchange this if I think it's good, and then I can, you know, it's just a fight, right? Okay. Yeah, so basically if I do this, I still wanted to play this move anyway. I mean, I guess, like, I think if I pincer, I'm making too many weak groups. So it feels a bit, yeah, the flavor is very overplay here because now black has 3 weak groups. But maybe it's possible. Maybe it's possible, yeah. But my intention was to just press, so this move's not needed. And if we forget about this thing for a moment, right? This one makes black slightly weaker to getting pincered and harder, like, and the stones are getting more in black's way. Also, in the future, white turning here is affecting my liberties, right? Making me want to extend it. And I don't want there to be senteis here because we're going to be fighting here, right? But if I no B, then white gets too much time and I'm not getting anything. So I press, and if white does something like this, then I'm already strong. Now I can fight back. Like I could jump here and attack and make this big and never get attacked here. Or I could maybe hane and then cap, right? And then make this flow happen. Although, do I like this shape? That's another question. Or even this, right? If I don't like the hane situation here, the way the shape is, then I could even go a little faster. And then white goes here, and I go here, and it just feels natural again. Black is too hard to attack now. And white is also starting to get hard to attack, but black got some territory to make up for some of the territory white got. And everything is okay. So since we're still here, let's look at the, let me show you guys what AI says. So, oh, okay, this is correct up to here. It is correct for black to push and pull back. That's interesting. See, so studying Joseki gives you so many skills, even fighting skills. Like it teaches you so many techniques, like ideas, tetsujis, shape, like how to exploit weaknesses, and all these different things, right? Joseki study is not just to memorize Joseki so that you can play them out in your games. It's to extract as much as possible from the Joseki of different learnings and different tools and techniques. You know, it's a bundle. It's like you know, you play D&D and you start out with some bundle of things, like some rope and some oil and some candles and some daggers and different things, right? Or like you're playing Legend of Zelda or virtually any RPG fantasy thing, video game, and you, okay, anyway, the analogy is going too far. A bundle of useful things. So it's not just like one thing of like, oh, it's a silver bullet. So when you happen to encounter a werewolf, you can shoot it. And if you hit, you can kill it, right? And that analogy is like, if you learn a Joseki, you just memorize, and then they deviate. If you don't have the skills from the Joseki and the adaptability, but all you can do is regurgitate like from rote memorization, then all they have to do is deviate a little bit and you're kind of screwed, right? And that's a coin flip. So that's the part about the silver bullet missing, right? You shoot and you miss. Oh, well, okay, there goes your silver bullet. It's gone. You're out of bullets. It's done. And now you get eaten by the werewolf, right? And encountering the werewolf in the first place is already rare. So, right, it's like it only helps you for that one situation, and only if it goes according to that. It's super useless, actually. Not only that, but if you don't understand the stone interactions on a deep level, then you just forget the Joseki too, and it's so hard to remember it. So everything points to going move by move to deeply understand each move, and you want to be able to explain it to someone else on a deep level. That's when you've truly learned it, right? And one more thing I'll say about this is that slower is better. So when you're studying things like Joseki, going slow and deep and thorough and really getting a bunch of go lessons out of it is how you actually go faster and improve more and become adaptable in general as a player in any situation, become able to deviate to better suit your situations, because of course Joseki are just templates, right? They're not meant to be always played exactly. So yeah, that is like very, very strong, urgent advice for you guys. Rote memorization stuff is very, very ineffective in Go. But there's a little bit that we can do that helps, like memorizing the value of super common endgame moves, for example, or memorizing some Joseki that even 5-6 dan amateurs can't really understand well, like the hyper complicated ones, right? Then there's some value to some, but even then your opponent might deviate and then again you're screwed, right? So it's not like high level players don't do any memorizing or relying on memory, but it's mostly not memory. It's mostly understanding the situation and coming up with our own moves and being comfortable with that. Yeah. Okay, so up to here. Wow. Okay, so this move was slightly wrong by 1 point, 1.2. This one was better. Yeah, of course I thought of this, but I thought it was a little bit too generous. Because even if white just reacts like somewhere here, I wasn't sure how to become happy with moves on this side. But I guess just any kind of pincer. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So I played that one. And yeah, so white instead of this one. Oh, this one's wrong. Interesting. My 9. But then this white move here is super wrong, of course. Interesting. So I should just do this and make the wall and pincer and be happy. Yeah, that was my original plan with 7, to be fair. But I changed my mind. Okay. So yeah, actually I kind of understand. You know why? Because when white goes here and I go out and then white just defends this group somehow, it sort of looks like I'm the only one under attack, right? Like I have to go out like this. White can just turn. And I'm still under threat here. And white's the only one making territory now. Especially if white manages to safely pincer here, then white's really the only one making points. So yeah. Let me see. So here, and then here. I mean, it's a little hard to judge, I guess. It's a little hard to judge, but this is super open, whereas this one is going to get solid. And I seem to be weaker than this white corner group. So overall, I do like white better there. Okay, I should have stayed connected and then been in the attacker's seat over here with no weak groups. It's true that white cannot make very many points up at the top anyway. Yeah, that's true. Okay, as for the rest of our game review, this is of course super good for black, and this was expecting this, but actually I could go here, and then the game is almost over after that in a way, at least by a high standard. This one, I don't think white has time. I think white has to push here or come out somehow. I cannot cut this anyway, so the best I can do is peep, and then maybe there's some things to think about, like hardcore stuff like this one, and then peeping here before I fix, stuff like that. So that could be really annoying for white actually, but I also have some things to think about here. Might be too overplay. So so maybe just this box shape, just jumping. Yeah. So I definitely think white should have played something on this side. This one is a little bit wrong direction right now. This could make sense if white had more, like if I didn't have this blackstone, and when white jumps, they're just making a bunch of territory and still chasing me. But here it's not like that because black has a stone there. So I'm clearly attacking white now. So it's just the wrong direction in this case. And then now white's almost dead. So yeah, the reason I didn't do this is because if white comes out like this and then I push and cut, white can wedge here. Like either wedge first or Atari first. Which one's better? I don't know. Yeah, one of those orders is better, right? But the point is that something terrible is about to happen here. So if here, then we lose those stones, right? And even if this part ends up getting cut somehow, like white can still, white's already alive over there. And then if this happens, or sorry, if this happens, this cut is still threatening these 5 stones. Meanwhile, white might even be already dead on the top, actually. But black will have time to add a move. Or I mean, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe white's dead though. Oh, not dead. Actually, this is kind of complicated. I think black can, there's something black could do here. Like at least a ko or something. There's got to be. There has got to be something that black can do. Not sure. But that's kind of the stuff I was worried about, right? This wedge combined with this situation here. And I didn't really have a reason to take giant risks either. So that's why I chose this connected move. Because even here, white's shape is still very small. And it's kind of obvious that even if white could live here, it's going to involve me getting 1 or 2 free moves in the middle. And that's good enough if you look around at the board, right? So like black is really good here. This corner is super tiny. And then we have this corner too, and this other corner. And then white lives micro there, and we get super strong outside. Of course, black is way ahead. So I don't need to kill. Yeah. Locally, if white tries this, I can just play here and then here. And this one was weird. They can just go here and it's more points. But yeah. That one was also weird. I would expect white to play here. This is just a clearly good direction and big place. Another good one is this one. Yeah, I don't think the bottom is the right place right now. It might look the widest, but black has like a wall here that helps black surround around here. Also, if white plays here, then there's some sentes coming up later, which are quite nice benefits of white over here. And this one, black clearly has a big wall. So when black plays here, not only it threatens invasion, but there's a lot of vertical potential because of the wall. So this narrow space is better than it looks because of the vertical potential. Okay. Yeah, maybe jump is still better. It's faster. To be honest, like we don't even need to do that to win the game. If you wanted my answer for like a really, really safe, I mean, you should do this to practice, right? If you think you're going to die in the center, you should practice it. But yeah, if you want a really, really safe, that has to do with counting how much you're ahead by and then allowing the game to get a little closer for the benefit of bringing the win chance closer to 100%, right? Taking away uncertainties. So something like this would be connected, and then you just go out somehow, right? And you just reduce the center in a way that is still letting them get a lot of this. And then maybe they block here. I mean, you could stop also at some point and jump in here. So maybe white needs to switch, right? But then you can get this one, right? Yeah. And anyway, even if white gets this, I think black probably still has enough, right? If we estimate now. Well, okay, we should probably count ourselves. I didn't count, right? Because I knew I was way ahead. And I knew that I wouldn't die if I shoulder hit. But let's see. This is 30. So if we add this and like the corner, then it's like 40. And then there's this one. So white has about 50-ish, right? So after Komi, or did I already give Komi? Wait, 30? No, yeah, 40, 50. So 50 plus Komi. And then black has 10, 20. And then a bit more, maybe close to 30, I guess, right? So almost 30. So we still need another 20 plus Komi. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So now we need 10 plus Komi. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now we need Komi. So 1, 2. And then we have this whole corner, right? So we're ahead by almost this whole corner. But it's true that the game got way closer. So this is definitely an overly soft way to play, which is why... That's why fighting skills and survival skills and all that are very important, because the difference between going like this and going here is gigantic. Yeah, this one, now white has no hope to win unless they kill you. And they shouldn't be able to kill you. There's not enough strength in the center to expect that. Now, if white had some weak groups on the board and things you could attack, things you could chase, that would actually be the natural way to lead yourself into the middle. So rather than just starting this up right away, what you would do is you would attack whatever the things are that you can attack, which in this game we don't have those. But you would attack, and you would attack not to kill, but just to march some black stones into the center. And then once you have some stones around here, it then becomes much, much safer to start up this fight. So, and then the game would just end. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to play moves like this until I need to, because it's hurting myself. But it's not like I would die. Like even this corner, when they get this one, it's like, okay, fine, right? But black is still not going to die here. I could even play this one if I want to make the shape extra simple. This one, I'm not... Yeah, there's a lot of options. But the fact that I have access to this kind of move means it's obviously safe to play that. I didn't want to play something so small. I actually wanted to play something like this, but I didn't... Yeah, I could have. I didn't want any cut ability and anything to possibly happen. But I don't think anything can really happen, actually. Yeah, so this is too hard to... I think this is also the wrong direction for white. White was focusing on territory too much. White needs to really try. So maybe something like this, for example. This is the area where black has the most presence. So this is the area that white should stop black from connecting to, and from... So black gets to make a sort of a box around here because any move around here is threatening to go home, right? And so that's why black will get to make that box. And so it's important for white to get in the way of that now, before any of those threats are even started up. Because any move that black plays in this direction has no possibility to connect to any other black. Like this one is too far away. Even this move is not threatening that. So right now, white has the freedom to do all the scary, annoying stuff and maybe try to kill. If this is my game and I'm white, I would try to kill, actually, because I think the game's over otherwise. Yeah. And like here, white has to try this one. That's the only hope. Literally only this move, no other move. This is the only move, I think. And if it doesn't work, then there's no hope, I think. Although, does it work for white? Oh, yeah, it probably doesn't even work though. That's why I was feeling safe around here. But because of course I thought about this even before I played that one, right? Before white peeped here, I knew that the next one would be this one. But I don't think this is going to work for white because there's a few variations here. For example, white has to play here to stop that connection. But then we can Atari. And what's the best way? I mean, even if we just do this ugly Atari and then make some double threats. There's so many ways to do this, isn't there? Like I could even Atari here first. And then this happens. And then this is probably still Sente. If white goes out, this should be a problem for white, but I would need to calculate it actually. Actually, can black just go here? And then just keep pushing white like this? Yeah, there's a lot of danger here. There might be even more clear things. Yeah, so then if white responds to everything like something like this, then we have a net. What else can I do? Maybe this one? This looks like it has some promise. Yeah, there's so many. Like, I don't think white can play like this. And then another one is this one, which is a bit similar, I think. The difference is that maybe white handles this a different way. But this is like an impossible fight for white right now, I think. Because even here, I could just squeeze and like let white do whatever on that side. They cannot do this because they're running out of liberties. So they would have to do something like that. And then, yeah. Anyway, black is totally connected everywhere. Okay, anyway, yeah. No point going through that. So many variations. Yeah, white actually... Normally white plays here to fix the shape. In this case, white could go there because there's a cutting point here. So if black tries to do these cuts here, there's going to be hell to pay, right? So yeah, so nothing's working for white. But this one was very cool. Yeah, I should have thought about that. That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't miss this move in a tournament or in general in a very high level game. But I think you guys can probably relate to this if you play online a lot. which is like when your opponent, when the game's kind of already over and you're just going through the motions because they're not resigning, or like you just don't feel pressure, it's very difficult to pull out your full power. Like this is actually a very obvious move to anyone remotely around my level, because this Joseki is super common and this Tesuji is very normal, especially with white hovering above like this. Yeah, like I've experienced this 1,000 times, and I was aware of it. Like I was thinking about it even the moment that literally the moment that white played this move, right? I'm already noting like, oh yeah, that's a bit far away for this one. But obviously in the real game, white gained more other stones and then they played there. So yeah, that was cool. I think white though, I thought white would play more like this, I think. This would be living in a way that gets more liberties. So even though it's not exactly alive, it's more of a bent 4 thing. Bent 4, when it comes to like a liberty fight, is pretty good actually for them compared to this one, I think. So I would need to focus on my own survival first. And then they could finish living with their move of choice like this one. That would be a pretty good deal for white, right? They took my whole corner away. So what I really should have done, I think, is to just compromise like this. Or like, yeah, like this. And then do these moves. That would have been fine. I barely lost anything, right? They just got a good endgame. That's it. Yeah. So well done by them. But they needed to attack this more seriously earlier on, instead of just making territory with moves like this one and especially this one. Yeah. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.